What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, SKYSPORTS TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I want to talk about something that I have to agree with Anthony Joshua on. Anthony Joshua was asked about if he was knocked out in sparring. We know prior to the Andy Ruiz fight, June 1st, Anthony Joshua adamantly said didn't happen. This rumor ran rampant as Anthony Joshua's dad kind of confirmed it, that it did happen, that he was injured in sparring, right? So with that said, Anthony Joshua went on to say that the business and the politics of the sport of boxing drains him, takes the love away. Says that all the clout chasing, all the he said all the negativity, all the clout chasing, and all the he says all the negativity, all the clout chasing, and all the, the hatred behind the scenes, the envy behind the scenes drains him of the love of the sport of boxing. He says that he loses love for the sport of boxing because of all the stuff that takes place behind the scenes. He says that, he says that you bring a guy in for training camp. Now, he wasn't speaking about Deweco directly, right? He was speaking in general. So he says that all the training, he says that all the guys you bring in, you pay to come in and spar with you. He says that, you pay these guys to come in and spar. He says that you have a good time behind the scenes. He says that, all of a sudden, he says that you beat them every round. You beat them up in sparring every single round. They don't have a good round. He says next thing you know, they leave your training camp. They leave the sparring session. They go do an interview. Next thing you know, they dropped you or knocked you or beat you up in sparring, knocked you out in sparring, and it catches fire and it runs rampant. And I have to agree with Anthony Joshua. And I'm going to tell this, and I'm going to say this about this situation. Anthony Joshua has to understand these are the times today, the millennials, right? Rather than help somebody today, people would pull out their phone, record it, and scream World Star or TMZ, right? People could just see somebody getting harmed in the street, and they rather record it and sell it to TMZ or World Star opposed to actually assisting that person. People could see a person getting an accident, and rather than assist that person, they rather record that person and they much rather record that person Dude's on my tail. They much rather record that person and sell it to TMZ and World Star, right? They much rather get famous off it. And that's what Anthony Joshua stated. He said that everybody's looking for 5 minutes of fame rather than building some relationships and things of that nature. Everybody's looking for 5 minutes of fame. And he's right. He's 1,000% right. Because everybody is looking for fame. Like I stated, people would much rather film you getting harmed than help you today's time. They much rather that. That's the times though. You gotta adjust with the times, right? And he says that makes him lose love for the sport. Well, I don't know how that makes you lose love for the sport when you're always on social media yourself. Now, to Anthony Joshua's defense, I'll say this. When he's on social media, it's always positive things, right? it's always a positive vibe, right? You know, now I know people, excuse me. Now I know people say, well, he never have no female presence in his social medias, but that's none of my business. That's that man's personal life. I have no interest in his personal life. I only have interest in his career, because what links me and him is that I report and journalize on the sport of boxing that he professions in. So that's our link. Outside of that, I don't care what he does in his personal time. So for the most part, you know, yeah, Anthony Joshua's social media is positivity, you know, but again, he's a young guy, and you know, he's on social media with everything he does is via social media, right? For the most part. Not everything he does, but you understand what I'm saying. He films his whereabouts. He films his current locations. He films his what's taking place currently, right? And that's what goes on today's time. With everything today's time, with the millennials, this new generation. That's what it is. Right? And so he's a part of that. Not that he's a part of the negativity, but he's a part of the new wave, the new era. And that's what everything. Things change. Things evolve. And so he doesn't like it, you know, that, you know, and he's not speaking to Joey DeWelko, you know, directly per se. But he's referring to the fact that, guys allude to, you know, knocking him out or knocking him down in sparring, and nobody actually knows what take place. And there's a lot of boxers today that don't like that. So to Anthony Joshua's defense, once again, there's a lot of boxers currently and trainers and things of that nature that can't stand the new way that things are handled today's time. They just don't like it. Right? They say, what happens in sparring is supposed to stay in sparring. You know, one guy, Errol Spence Jr., the Truth, undefeated IBF's superstar welterweight champion, Errol Spence is always continuously asked about his sparring sessions with Floyd Mayweather, his sparring session with Adrian Broner. And you know what Errol Spence always says? Nothing. You know what he says? That was sparring. You know, because there's an unwritten code. What happens in sparring stays in sparring. And that you know, that's not what happens today, because of what Anthony Joshua was stating, that, you know, everybody wants their 5 minutes of fame. So I agree with him, right? Because let's say he was hurt, staggered, knocked out, injured in sparring leading up into the Andy Ruiz fight. Why did it get leaked out? Who leaked it out? You understand what I'm saying? Why did it get leaked out? It should have never got leaked out, especially since the fact that you paying these individuals. You understand? So it's a contract, but you got somebody in your camp, somebody inside that's leaking the water. And then the flood starts. A slow leak turns into a puddle turns into a flood, then the flood turns into a stream, then the stream turns into you understand what I'm saying? Then before you know it, you got water damage. And the problem is you can't police everybody in your camp, in your team. That's the problem. So I agree with Anthony Joshua. But he says that, you know, he loses love for the sport because of that. And who am I to say otherwise? You know, you can't even say you got to police your camp better. You can't say that. Because the thing is, it's word of mouth. So somebody could tell somebody in secrecy, and then that person tells somebody, then before you know it, you get this flood. You get water damage. So I understand what he's saying, because if that was the case, it should have been kept in-house, point blank and period. But he said that it absolutely did not happen. He heard the rumors. He heard everybody discussing the fact that, you know, he was injured and concussed. But the thing about this is, see, his dad was co-signing it, saying that he was injured leading it into the fight. So his father co-signed it. So that gave it, it validated it. You understand what I'm saying? Because his dad came out and said that, oh, this fight shouldn't have shouldn't have pushed forward, because he alluded to the fact that Anthony Joshua was not healthy going into the fight. So, you know, it validates the rumors. You understand? But that's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. Anthony Joshua says the clout chasing and the envy behind the scenes, people wanting 5 minutes of fame, is making him lose love for the sport of boxing, the sport he loves. That's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Peace.